why is hiring so damn hard? In some ways, it's supposed to be. Because the people that we hire can ultimately make or break our companies. These aren't decisions we're supposed to take lightly. But there's two types of hard. We've got good hard and bad hard. Good hard are those moments where we have 2 or 3 amazing candidates, and we can only choose one of them for our roles. Bad hard are those moments where it takes a long time to find them. Like when we post our jobs and we're not getting enough applicants, or when we're reaching out to people and it takes too long to hear back, or when our tools are hard to use. As head of product for Talent Solutions, my job is to make sure that you're focusing less time on the bad hard. And in the past year, we've made a lot of progress. We launched the next generation of Recruiter, which made Recruiter not just easier to use, but more powerful at the same time. We're seeing Recruiter spend 30% less time searching, but viewing more profiles and contacting more people than ever before. And we rebuilt our job seeker experience on both mobile and desktop. Job applications are up 86% year over year. And it's not just about the quantity. The quality is also getting better with the massive investments we've made into our matching algorithms. And we've launched a new product called a lead capture landing page, which allows members to express interest in one click. When used in conjunction with our media campaigns, it's reducing the cost per lead by up to 3x while maintaining amazing quality. Now, these results far exceeded all of my expectations. I'm super proud of our team. But I know what you're all asking. What's next? So I believe that the opportunity here isn't just to look individually on a product-by-product basis, but to take a step back and think about the market more holistically. Because that market, the talent marketplace, it's changing. And we all know this. People are switching jobs faster than ever before. They're becoming pickier about what companies they're going to work at. And they are taking a lot longer for us to hire on average. So what are we going to do about this new reality? Well, we're going to have to become a lot more efficient. And I want to give you an example of a very efficient process that I just went through. I just bought my first house a month ago. And I needed some stuff. So I really quickly went online to look for an interior designer. And instantly, I was able to see a list of designers that were available to work right now. When I reached out to them, I was hearing back in minutes. And then I was able to go look at their portfolios to learn more about them, to understand if they were a good fit for me. And in one click, I was able to schedule interviews. This entire process from beginning to end took less than 48 hours. And the reason that it was so fast was because all of the inefficiencies had been stripped out of the process. We need to do the same. We need to build a better talent marketplace. Right now, there are a ton of amazing candidates who would be the perfect fit for all of your roles, or some of your roles, yet you don't know about them. And when we're reaching out to people, it's often taking too long for us to hear back. Sometimes we're never hearing back, and we don't even know if they've read our messages. We can't just blame the candidates. It's not their fault. They don't know who our companies are. And sometimes they do know who our companies are, but they don't know what it would be like to work for us. And as we think about efficiency, maybe we should start with some of the most obvious problems that exist today, like the fact that our systems don't talk to each other. Our strategy this year is to build a better talent marketplace by focusing on each step of the process and figuring out how we can improve it, starting with how we identify talent, how we contact them, how we attract them to our companies, and ultimately how we hire them with less friction. Because I do want to make your jobs harder. I want you spending more time trying to pick between those 1, 2, or 3 amazing candidates for your role and less time worrying about where you're going to find them. So let's start with how we identify talent. Today we have 2 types, active and passive. Meet Active Eddie. He's applied to jobs at Facebook, Google, and Apple today alone. In fact, he's applied to every single job in the world today. Oh, fuck. And meet Passive Eddie. He's that guy. He loves his job, and he is never, ever, ever going anywhere. I promise. Now, there's just one problem. Active and passive Eddie, they don't exist. The majority of active talent isn't applying to every single job out there, and not all passive talent is drinking the Kool-Aid. In fact, a lot of them are open to new opportunities. The reality is, most people fall somewhere in the middle. Let me ask you guys a question. Where do you fit in? Now, do not raise your hands. But how many of you in the past year have thought about switching jobs? It could have been because your boss pissed you off. Maybe you wanted to switch cities. Maybe you just got bored of what you were doing. And in that moment, you probably went and researched some companies. Maybe you reached out to a friend or two. And by chance, you may have heard from a recruiter, which is great. It couldn't have been better timing. You were open to something new. But it would have also been pure luck, because that recruiter had no ability to know that you were open to new opportunities. Unless you had applied to their job, you were passive just like everyone else. Now imagine something for a second. What if all of us could see all of that open talent that exists out there? How would that change our jobs? I want to visualize this for you so you can understand why this concept has me so excited. Now imagine that we're hiring for an account executive in New York City, and there's 100,000 of them, as represented by the dots behind us. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to post a job. And when we do, we collect 50 applicants. These are the people that we know are interested in our companies. Maybe. What if I told you there was another 250 people who'd started the application process but didn't finish for whatever reason? Wouldn't it be great to know who those people were? Let's take it a step further. What if I told you there was another 8,000 people who were open to new opportunities and would have been a perfect fit for that account executive role? You know these people exist. You know they're out there. And for now, they're going to stay out there. Because LinkedIn is a members-first company. And showing you all of this information without our members' permission would be a complete violation of their trust. Unless, of course, they told us it was OK. So we went and asked them. And it turns out that when someone's looking for something new, they want you to know about it under two conditions. The first is they want control. They want to be able to opt in, and they want to make sure that they can manage which signals get shared. And the second is they want it kept only visible to you. And by that, I mean recruiters. They don't want the whole world knowing about it, and it needs to be hidden from their current employer. We're actually going to be able to do this. We're going to be able to show you all of this amazing open talent that exists and protect our members' privacy at the same time, which is why I'm really excited to announce that you all now have access to open talent on LinkedIn. And open talent consists of two things: open candidates, which are members that have raised their hand to say that they're open to something new, and apply starters, people who've started the application process but didn't finish. Let's start with open candidates. When a member raises their hand, they're able to tell us what roles they're interested in, what cities they want to work in, doing what type of work, and a few words about why. And we're going to be able to see these people right from within Recruiter Search. When I hover over the Open to New Opportunities icon, I'll be able to see all of that information. Now, this is really powerful. I want you to think about something for a second. Our profiles today are a representation of where we are now, not necessarily where we want to go. Imagine for a second that I wanted to move to New York City later next year. Now every company that's hiring for a product manager could know that they can reach out to me. This has never been possible before. And it's taking off with members like wildfire. We just recently released this, and our goal for Talent Connect was to be at 250,000. As of yesterday, we just crossed the 1 million mark. And as you can imagine, the response rate is much higher. It's twice as high, because these people want to hear from you. Now, the second signal we have is apply starters, which is a bit more explicit and a bit more self-explanatory. Up to 80% of people who start the application process don't finish, for whatever reason. They could have started it on their mobile phone, maybe your application process was too long, maybe they got caught up eating a muffin. I really don't know. But what I can tell you is if they don't finish the application, you're not seeing it. Well, now you are. You'll be able to see all the people who start your application on LinkedIn but don't finish. And starting early next year, we're going to help you see these people from your career site as well. So all of the people who start the application, you have visibility into. Now, these people, as you can imagine, have a high response rate. But we had no idea how absolutely high it would be. 9 in 10 people who start an application but don't finish it and are reached out to by a recruiter are responding. This essentially says that those who started the application and those who finished it are essentially the same. Now, this stuff is really valuable, right? And so you got to know it's going to cost a ton of money, and so I hope you're all prepared to do that and pay up a lot. I'm just kidding. It's completely free. So now that we've identified all of this amazing open talent, what's next? Well, you're going to obviously contact them. And you guys do an amazing job of that. Since we relaunched our messaging experience last year, response rates are up, and over 500 million in-mails have been sent out. But the feedback I continually hear from all of you is that you want more responses and you want them faster. And I get it. So I'm going to do something that I probably shouldn't do, but you already know I'm going to anyways. And I've invited Mark Hull up to show you a sneak peek of our new LinkedIn.com desktop experience, where messaging is everywhere. It's smarter and it's faster. Now, some of the things you're going to see are going to change along the way, but I think you'll agree that the direction we're heading in is incredibly exciting. It's all yours, Mark.
Thanks very much, Eddie. Well, I'm thrilled to be here with you today to walk you through and unveil the new LinkedIn desktop experience. I know when you get your hands on it, you're going to find that it is much easier. Maybe much easier. Oh, no. There you go. OK. Trust me, it really will be easier to use, easier than this microphone. Not only will it be easier to use, it'll be more engaging than ever and more effective in helping you get things done that you want to get done. But today, I really want to do is focus you on the conversation part of the experience. And that is testing. Can you hear me? It's still back? We're coming back. We're doing it live. Experience. No good. OK. It's ironic that I'm talking about conversations and you can't hear me. So, you want to switch? OK, we're going to go again. No. Test 4, test 5, test 6, test 7. We're good. Thank you, sir.
All right. Take 2 on about conversations. So really now about conversations, and you'll see in the desktop experience that we've put them front and center. Conversations are everywhere. And not only are they just front and center, they're on every single page of the LinkedIn experience. So that means the conversations that you're having with recruiters and candidates are front and center and not buried deep inside. Now, to show you how I'm going to help you get more responses faster, I'm going to do it through a demo, and the star of our demo today is Aaron. Aaron is a product manager. He's an open candidate, and he loves artificial intelligence, or AI. So it's not unusual for Aaron to start his day perusing the feed. That's where he stays informed and connected with his network. And he comes across an article about artificial intelligence, and you'll notice something has changed. His list of conversations on the side have now lit up. He just got a message from somebody. So without leaving the feed, he clicks that message open, and he finds that there's an interesting opportunity from Laura Patterson. Laura happens to be the recruiter for Paularino Systems, the hottest AI company out there today. Well, he's intrigued, but he's not quite ready to respond just yet. So what he does is he clicks on the job listing, and he gets a full view of what happens, or what's interesting there. What you'll also notice is that his conversations went with him to the job experience. And also something else happened as well. His conversation list changed. It now prioritizes the people he knows at that company where he can get the true inside scoop of what that place is all about. In this case, Jack DiNapoli, an engineer that he's connected with who works at Polarino Systems. And he can ask him, Jack, what do you think about this place? Now, what normally might have taken days, weeks to a conversation to take place, now is much faster than ever. You see that message has been read, and you see that Jack is replying back. And when Jack says, hey, Polarino's a 3-emoji kind of place, this place is awesome, you gotta check it out. So now everyone's intrigued, emojis are great. He comes back to Laura, again without leaving the job experience, and he says, let's learn more. Now obviously your conversations go with you everywhere that you guys go, you're mobile as well. And in this case, what happens next between Laura and Aaron is to set up that in-person meeting. Now, how many of you out there love setting up meetings? You know, that process where you go back and forth and find out what time is available, not available, send a message on a phone call, look at different calendars. It's crazy. I don't love that, and I can't imagine when you guys are doing it 100x a day, how much you enjoyed it as well. But what if we could solve that problem for you? I'd like to introduce you to InBot. InBot is your own personal assistant who will help you schedule these meetings. InBot will look at your calendar, look at the calendar of the people in that conversation, and suggest mutually available times. And what it will do is say, if this is the time you're available for, if you both agree to it, it'll write that calendar event right back into your Google Calendar in this case, without having to leave the experience at all. All right. So meetings are a pain point, clearly. And it's obviously going to be easier than ever before. And in the future, the InBot can do even more powerful things, like maybe suggest a meeting location, someplace that's mutually agreeable for you. So it is an amazing experience, but that's just one step along the way. The next step is to help Aaron out. See, Aaron's on his way to that meeting, and 15 minutes before the meeting, not only do we remind him about it coming up and who it's with, but we give him tips and insights about that person, in this case, Laura. Help me know what Laura's been up to. Has she published something in the feed? Maybe went to the same school. Now you have an icebreaker that allows you to have a more productive conversation. We've anticipated your needs. So he pulls up into the lobby, and he wants to let Laura know that he's there. Without having to type a single thing, he can lift up his phone and say, hey, Siri, send a LinkedIn message to Laura. Let her know I'm here in the lobby and ready to talk with her, without having to type a single thing. So clearly, the new LinkedIn messaging and conversation experience is going to help you do more than ever before. It may feel like magic, but trust me, it's not. The future is now. These are all products that are being actively tested and developed with our users today, and you'll see them roll out to the rest of the membership in the coming months. And I'm sure that what you will experience when you have your hands on this is a supercharged LinkedIn experience that will help you get more responses faster. Thanks very much, and Eddie, back to you.
Thanks, Mark. This is incredible stuff. Can you imagine what we're going to be able to do now when we can identify amazing open talent and leverage this new messaging experience to get more responses faster? It's going to make our lives so much easier. So what's the next step in the process? Well, obviously to attract them to our companies. And that part, that's not so easy, because for most candidates, it's a really big deal on where they're going to decide to work next. And it's your job to convince them to take the time to learn more about your company and to ultimately end up interviewing with you. But we're not just interviewing them. They're also interviewing us. What do I mean by that? Well, if I was looking for a job, which I'm not, but there are 800 companies hiring for product managers in San Francisco right now. Where would I know where to start? If I looked at the job descriptions, the majority of them look pretty similar. But I'm not going to decide the next company that I go and work for based on what's written in the job description. It's going to be based on the company. Because people apply to companies, not to jobs. However, there's one problem. Those 800 companies that I just mentioned, I don't know the majority of them. I don't know what they do. And some of them I do recognize, but I know their consumer brand. I don't know what it's like to work there. And in some cases, I may have the wrong impression of what it's like to work there. For me to decide where I'm going to go next, I need to hear your story, and it has to be authentic. We can help you tell a better story. And I've invited Eric Alsky up to come and show you just how.
Thanks, Eddie. Eddie just talked about the importance of telling your story. So I want you to think for a moment. If I were to ask you, what's it really like to work where you work? What would you say? I'll tell you a little bit about how I would answer that question. I would say that I get to work on products that are delivered to 450 million people around the world. And those products help them find careers that they love. But the truth is, that's obvious. You could figure that out with simple internet research. There are parts of my story at LinkedIn that you wouldn't easily know, and a lot of them are about the people that I work with. For example, this team of engineers. Even though LinkedIn is a large company, these guys have been working at the pace of an early-stage startup, and they've had fun doing it. This guy, Arthur, he is my brilliant designer. And he's the kind of guy who will show up to Team Photo Day wearing a bright green t-shirt with another company's logo on it. Thanks, Arthur. And this is Kate, my phenomenal product marketing partner, who has an uncanny ability to take a complex problem and find a simple solution. And Vipul. Vipul loves to laugh, even after 5 consecutive 13-hour days. I feel like every team in the world needs someone like Vipul. So these people, the products that I work on, the company and its mission, these are all part of my LinkedIn story. When I think about it, it begs the question, how could I possibly distill all of this into a star rating? As if it were a night out at a restaurant or a hotel stay. That is the challenge of employer branding. And that's why we built the next generation of LinkedIn career pages. Because you and your employees have stories to tell, and we know that candidates want to hear them. In fact, we know that when you open the door to your culture, to candidates, it leads to better hiring outcomes. Candidates that visit your career page today are almost 3 times as likely to respond to an in-mail from a recruiter. So today, I'm thrilled to introduce you to the next generation of LinkedIn career pages. It's a canvas for you and your employees to tell authentic stories about who you are as a company. And it's supercharged by layers of personalization that only LinkedIn can provide. So you'll notice that we've completely reimagined the company profile on LinkedIn. What was once just a small careers tab is now a compelling visual navigation with 2 full pages, life and jobs. Life is a space for you and your employees to collaborate on telling your story. And jobs is fully automated. It's personalized for every LinkedIn member who visits your page. So how did we arrive at this design? Well, over the last year, we spent many hours talking to LinkedIn members about what they wanted and needed to know about your company before they would decide to take an interview or accept an offer. And we found that there are some essential questions in every candidate's journey. And those are the questions we're going to try to help them answer. For example, who will I be working with? Who are the Arthurs, the Kates, the Vipuls that I'll be working with every day? And how did they get to this company? Where did they go to school? Where did they work before? What skills do we have in common? Who will I be working for? I want to know who the leaders are of the company, and not just the executive leaders, as important as that is. I also want to know who the leaders are in my function, because those are the people I'll be solving problems with every day. What jobs are a match for my skills? Every candidate that visits your page will instantly see the jobs that are the best fit for their skills and experience. And last, we return to the essential question that I started with, which is, what's it really like to work at your company? And we heard loudly and clearly from our members that they want to hear directly from your employees. So we added 3 features that will enable that. The first is a feature called Employee Perspectives, which leverages LinkedIn's publishing platform. Anytime one of your employees publishes an article on LinkedIn, you'll have access to that article and be able to feature it on your page. So I'll share briefly how LinkedIn has used this feature. We've used it to feature articles on gender equality in the workplace, on the way employees experience inclusion and belonging at LinkedIn, and for articles on our engineering culture. And so what would you learn about LinkedIn from these articles? You'd learn that LinkedIn is an inclusive place. You'd learn that LinkedIn values open dialogue about hard issues like gender, race, and sexuality. And you'd learn that LinkedIn's engineering culture has very, very high standards. But the truth is that no matter who you are as a company, your employees are telling stories that are aligned with your mission and values. And Employee Perspectives is designed to help you find them and feature them. Next, we've added a feature called Company Photos that simply allows you to upload photos of company life, but it also allows you to curate photos that have been submitted directly to you by your employees, so you can showcase what it's really like inside your walls. And last, we've added a feature called Culture Insights that highlights the causes that your employees are passionate about, and even the nonprofit organizations that they spend their time supporting. So you may be looking at all this and thinking, wow, this looks amazing, but it also looks like a lot of work. But there's good news. We've created slick new admin tools that make it fast and simple for you to build and maintain your pages. One of the things we also heard very clearly from you is that you need to be able to measure your results. So we've also completely overhauled our analytics tools so that you can measure the impact of your pages down to and including the hires that you've made. Eddie also talked about the fact that competition for talent is very fierce. So for the first time in your analytics tool, we're going to give you real-time insight into your competition for talent. You'll have access to your company's talent flows at your fingertips. You'll be able to see where you're gaining talent from, and when employees leave, where are they going. But we'll also show you insights on your applicant pool on LinkedIn. The people who are applying to your jobs right now, what other companies are they engaging with? So think about all of the pieces we've put together here. Your people, their stories, LinkedIn's data and insights, and our network of over 450 million people. The result is that we can give every candidate in the world a personalized tour of your company when they need it most. At the moment, they get an in-mail from one of your recruiters, connect with one of your employees, or find a job posting that's a perfect fit for them. So far, the early results have been impressive. We had an early access program with about 30 customers, and they've seen a 60% lift in page views per visitor and a nearly 3x increase in job views. So we're thrilled about the results. And the best news is that this is available right now. So you as an admin can log in and begin optimizing your page. And this will be available to LinkedIn members starting next week. So we are thrilled to see what you do with the new canvas that you've been given. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Eric. This is incredible work by you and the team. Now, the stories that we tell can help us get talent through the doors. But the hardest and most frustrating part of the process is still yet to come. And it's not negotiating with them over their salary or having to run background checks. It's all of the time that we spend going back and forth between LinkedIn and our ATS systems. And it feels a little bit like this. And it's a waste of time. And it needs to end now. I know this is something that all of you have been looking forward to for a long time. A deep integration between LinkedIn and your ATS system. And it's called Recruiter System Connect. It's going to help you do two things. First, it's going to help you, when you're in Recruiter, see if a candidate's already in your ATS. You'll be able to see information about them, like, did they bomb the interview? Did we just never reach out to them? Did they decline our offer? And secondly, you'll be able to export in one click a profile with its essential information from LinkedIn into your ATS system. No more copy pasting. Now, this new integration is going to work starting early next year with the following ATS partners. They're some of our top partners. If you don't see your ATS on this list, feel free to reach out to them because we're here to work with you. Now, I think you already know the answer to this one, but Recruiter System Connect is completely free as long as you have 3 or more Recruiter licenses. Wow, we covered a lot of stuff today. Underlying everything we spoke about is the simple fact that we're giving you more access to our data to make all of you more successful. It starts with being able to identify great open talent, to be able to get more responses faster with our new messaging experience, to be able to attract talent with authentic stories, and to be able to do all of this with less friction in the process with our System Connect. But hiring's still going to be damn hard, because as a result of all of this, you're going to be in more tough situations where you have 2 or 3 great candidates and you can only choose one. Thank you.